Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the 228th weekly webinar hosted by AABN. It's truly heartening to see such an enthusiastic turnout today from our long-standing members who have supported us since the beginning to the fresh faces joining us for the first time. Thank you for being here. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to extend my personal best wishes to you and your families for your health, safety, and continued growth. These webinars are more than just events. They are a celebration of shared learning, collaboration, and the spirit of community. And none of this would be possible without your unwavering support. So, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Today's session is particularly special. We are diving into a topic that's both timely and timeless: emotional intelligence for leaders. In a world that's constantly evolving, technical skills alone are no longer enough. What really sets great leaders apart is their ability to understand, manage, and harness emotions, both their own and those of others. Emotional intelligence is the bridge between strategic and empathy, between vision and connection. And today we have the perfect speaker to guide us through this journey. It's my absolute honor to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Aswathy Rajan, founder and director, Success E-Learning. Dr. Aswathy is a powerhouse of knowledge, experience, and inspiration. She began her career as a scientist at the University of Madras, where she led a young scientist project under SERB DST Government of India. Her research has been published in over 12 international journals, and she was awarded the Young Scientist Award by the Zoological Society, Kolkata. But her journey did not stop at science. Dr. Ashwathi transitioned into education and leadership, becoming a principal of a CBSE school and introducing groundbreaking programs for students and teachers. She holds multiple certifications, including NLP, Train the Trainer, POSH in counseling, and has earned postgraduate diploma in counseling and psychotherapy and school counseling. She is also a celebrated author with two impactful books to her name: The Lady with the Magic Lamp, which became an Amazon bestseller, and Homeopathy Against Malaria, a scientific approach. As a distinguished Toastmaster, she has held several leadership roles and continues to inspire audiences with her powerful public speaking. Dr. Ashwathi's mission is clear and compelling: to build a global community of educators and learners, and to elevate the teaching learning experience through innovation, empathy, and empowerment. Today, she brings all of that wisdom to help us explore how emotional intelligence can transform leadership, how it can help us lead not just with our minds but with our hearts. So, without further ado, please join me in giving a warm virtual welcome to Dr. Ashwathi. Over to you, Dr. Ashwathi. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for that warm welcome. I'm so delighted, honored actually to be here in this August gathering. It's very interesting the way we got connected through social media platform, and today I am here in this forum to talk to all of you, to interact with all of you. So thank you so much once again for having me here. Uh, so distinguished members of this forum, uh, it always feels nice and wonderful to be among people, learned people who carry this shared legacy of such a reputed organization into leadership, entrepreneurship, and mentoring. So I'm looking forward to learn something through our interaction today. Um, Talking about today's session, I'm very thankful that Gopi sir already set the grounds, and he has introduced the session, the topic which we are going to discuss. So thanks a lot once again for setting the stage, setting up the tone. So this topic is very close to my heart, leadership. As I learned through my journey, a short and interesting journey as a scientist, educator, and an entrepreneur, uh, it is not about titles. We all always we have heard this, that leadership is not about titles. It is about influence. It is about the impact. It is about uh, and above all, it is all about emotions. So I personally believe that leadership without emotions is not a true leadership. It is not an effective leadership. But on the contrary, most of the times, many people, many leaders, they feel that leadership is hitting the targets, meeting the timelines, or achieving the goals. But in this journey, during this journey, it is very important that how we touch the emotions of the members with whom we are dealing with. So leadership is not confined to boardrooms or the corporate rooms, the corporate titles. Maybe it is something that we practice in every day, every walks of life. So as we are going to discuss about this today, uh, you'll see that as parents, uh, we guide our children. As mentors, we shape young minds or shape others life. As community members, we drive change. So, or even in moments of personal choices, like leadership is all about influence. It's all about inspiring others. It's about creating an impact. So true leadership shines in a way we listen to others, or the way we respond, or the way we inspire and rise others. Because it is not only a solo journey, it is not a solo journey where we succeed. It is all about rising others with us. And when this leadership is blended with emotions, it transcends authority. It becomes a force. It that builds trust, builds connection, and of course a meaningful legacy. So today we are going to talk about all these things. I know that all of you are seniors in terms of experience, and the stories you have with your colleagues, your teammates, your subordinates will be the perfect examples of emotional intelligence. But today, I would like to learn from you also, as well as share some of my learnings, or whatever I have experienced in my this short and sweet journey. So before getting into the session, let me ask all of you a question. I want all of you to respond. You can unmute or please put it in the chat box. So the question is, what is that one quality, one single quality that you always remember about your favorite leader, someone whom you admire as a leader? So that person can be your boss, your teacher, your any community leader. Uh, so what is that one quality that you always remember when you think of that leader? I would like to get some responses from all of you.
Can I come?
Yes, please.
Leader is always motivator, inspires others. He creates other leaders, and he is always a servant leader. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for that response. I can see that there are some responses in the chat also. Leader should be inspiring. Leader should, um, yeah, so leader should be, there are so many responses. Just a minute. Let me see. Coach, leader should be a coach, integrity, communication, passion, should be humble, empowerment, courage, transparency. Wonderful. Should be a role model. So, yeah. So, thank you so much for all those responses. Thank you for engaging. So, yes, as you all mentioned, these are the traits or qualities that sets a person apart, or that makes you idolize someone as a leader. Now, there are few terms that I saw in the messages and through the response that you all said. Inspiring should be understanding, motivator, a coach. So if you see all these traits or these qualities or skills, they are actually emotional intelligence in action, right? These traits are actually emotional intelligence in action. So I always feel that we knowingly or unknowingly we practice that in our uh, journey. So today in this session, we are going to see or discuss all these points. There are five sections. We will talk about emotional intelligence. There are elements of emotional intelligence. So we'll discuss about it and why it matters for a leader. a leader be a leader in a corporate world, or a mentor, or an entrepreneur, why it matters, and how can it help a leader to be a better leader, or effective leader, or successful leader. Then I will also talk about its connection with NLP. We'll talk just a basics of NLP. I would like to share with all of you that can be implemented easily by anyone, uh, practiced in your day-to-day life, in your work, professional and personal life. So we will also do some small activities and exercises related to emotional intelligence, which is NLP based. So I'm sure that would be an interesting section for all of you. So we'll keep doing that in between. So this is what we are going to uh, do today. Okay, so emotional intelligence, that is the word of the day that we are going to discuss and talk. A few more thoughts are welcome from all of you. What do you think that emotional intelligence is?
Someone who could be, who has a style which is visionary, ability to coach, ability to command, and ability to be, I would say democratic and affiliating. And probably that's, I would say, from a style, leadership, emotional leadership style.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, yes, sir, please.
Can I come?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Emotional intelligence means even in adverse circumstances, when the situation is very bad, he doesn't lose his balance, and he keeps cool and guide the team and bail out from even from the adversity. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. Yes, exactly. So, in simple words, emotional intelligence is basically the emotional quotient. Okay, like we have IQ, intelligence quotient, it is emotional quotient, where you have the ability to recognize, understand, and also at the same time manage the emotions. And when I say emotions, it is your own emotions and emotions of the other people whom you are influencing or whom you are managing. So emotional intelligence is recognizing, understanding, and managing the emotions of people, including yourself. So that is something in very simple language about emotional intelligence. So there is a beautiful quote which I always follow, and I think this is a very powerful quote. It says, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." This is a beautiful quote given by Maya Angelou. So, uh, you can understand the depth of this quote. It says, "The way you treat people, it will always leave a mark on their character or their learning or their experience." Whenever we think of a person who has made a mark on our life, someone who's been our guide, mentor, teacher, we always have that one small factor that sets that person apart from the other people or other person. For example, your favorite teacher, why he or she was your favorite teacher? Because the way that teacher made you feel was different from the other people. So here, if you see in this quote, it clearly says the treatment that you give to other people, it is important, it makes the difference, and that is where we have emotional intelligence, and that is where emotional intelligence comes to picture. So now, talking about emotional intelligence, there was a famous person called Daniel Goleman. He was a famous psychologist, and he has worked a lot on emotional intelligence. He was the pioneer who actually brought emotional intelligence in your day-to-day life. He taught people that how can it be improved in your actions, through your actions, and what are the practices that you can follow, some techniques that you can follow. So he was the pioneer in that. So he gave 5 elements of emotional intelligence, or you can say 5 different phases of emotional intelligence, that anyone, any leader can go through, any person actually can go through in their lifetime. So Daniel Goleman's theory of emotional intelligence, it is called as, uh, it it explains that how emotions influence the way we connect with others, we communicate with others, and also we lead others. And he identified these five components. So the first one was self-awareness. Self-awareness, we all know, the ability to recognize and understand one's own emotions. If you are aware of your own emotions, you are self-aware person. And leaders, when we talk about leadership, leaders with self-awareness know their strengths, they know their weaknesses, they know the trigger points, and can manage themselves better. You all can imagine that if you know your weaknesses, if you know that this is something that will trigger you when you are doing a very crucial project, working on something very important, very urgent, how will you manage those things? We learn through emotional intelligence, because leaders know their blind spots. They should know their blind spots. If they know, they can adjust their styles according to the situations, right? So they can avoid emotional hijacks. When emotional hijack means where the anger, for example, anger or stress, or sometimes even ego, it takes over everything. Once it hijacks you, it will take the control, and it becomes very difficult to work on something that you wanted to. We have heard this, that this person is having a very short temper, that is why he or she said like this during this incident. But once you lose the temper, or once your emotions get out of your control, the situation becomes different. It becomes difficult for everyone. So being aware of your own emotions is very important. Uh, we always say that a leader who realizes that he or she is stressed, or you are stressed, can actually pause. I do that a lot whenever I feel that it is too much for me to take up, or overwhelming, or I'm really stressed in this situation. So I always take a pause or slow down, and that give me the time to bounce back or come back with a normal or regular mindset. So it is very important to understand that what is that point, or what is that blind spot. So awareness, first one is awareness. So now I would like to I'll share a small example. In Toastmasters, we have many leadership roles, and I started my journey as the club president, and then I progressed to the area director, where I had to manage some 5 clubs in my area, including corporate clubs, like a club in a corporate office, or community clubs which is open to everyone. And I also had one college club, so mixed membership base I had. So I used to visit some of these struggling clubs, the clubs where the members are not very active, they are not doing very well. So my first instinct was frustration whenever I used to go and attend those meetings, because the meetings were not of good quality. Members are not paying attention. Members are not doing anything. The purpose is not getting solved there. So I used to think that why weren't these meeting happening properly? But then I took a pause and reflected that about that frustration I had, or about my own expectations. I got that self-awareness. My self-awareness shifted the way I approached. So the shift in my thought happened, and instead of pushing, I started asking questions that I should listen to the members, and I should build a trust with the members, and then come out with the problems, and then their solutions and the outcome. And that really helped. So having an awareness really helps when you are a leader, and especially when you are in a leadership position. Second element of emotional intelligence, according to Daniel Goleman, was self-regulation. So the first was self-awareness, and next is self-regulation, which means the capacity to control or redirect the emotions and impulses. And when I say emotions and impulses, it is usually the disruptive emotions and impulses. So this actually helps leaders to stay calm, especially when there is a crisis, there is a challenge, there is a difficult situation. It also helps the leaders to be adaptable, which is a very, very important trait as a leader, for a leader, because uncertainty is always following you, and you never know when situation changes. So it is very important that as a leader you adapt to the changes, to the changing scenario, changing situation, and also at the same time make some rational decisions even under pressure. So this self regulation helps there. It also helps you to build trust within your team, with your members. It allows to model stability for your whole team. So what happens when you can regulate, when you can control the situation, instead of blaming on other person or blaming a team member or your colleague, in that frustrated situation, the leader chooses to give constructive feedback. You will always try to give that constructive feedback. We'll see some examples and more in more detail later. So that is all about self-regulation. Next, we have motivation. That was the third element of emotional intelligence. So motivation, I saw that some of you already mentioned that a leader should be a motivator, someone who can motivate. So motivation is basically the inner drive to achieve goals beyond external rewards. No external rewards. It can be money, it can be status, it can be awards, any kind of external rewards. So leaders, we have always seen that leaders with high motivation, they show optimism. They are very positive, and they are resilient also. They have commitment, a very strong commitment towards their passion, commitment towards their vision they have. So inspiring team, if you look into any inspiring team, to keep moving, to keep moving forward despite any setbacks, motivation is very important. And for a leader, it is, of course, crucial. When you are self motivated, when you are motivated and you are able to motivate others, that is something magical that can actually transform things. Fourth element of emotional intelligence is empathy. This is a term which is used in many different ways, in every forum, in every platform you see, in social media, in WhatsApp messages, in any speech, any debate, anywhere you see, this is something which is used left, right, center. And so basically, what is empathy? Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It is, of course, different from sympathy. It is to understand, to walk in their shoes. How will that person think or the feel in the particular situation? So it is thinking from their perspective, feeling like that person. That is empathy. And empathic leaders, they always have this quality to listen deeply. They can listen to others deeply and recognize their perspectives. Not only recognize, value their perspective, and it builds a genuine trust. uh, Supporting for example, supporting a colleague who is struggling personally. We have gone through such situations in our offices or in our professional life, when a colleague is facing some struggle in his or her personal life, while finding ways to ease their workload. Okay, we discuss, we help them, we support them. That is empathy. In simple words, that is empathy. And the fifth element of emotional intelligence is social skills. Again, a very important skill, which is a part of emotional intelligence. Social skills means the art of managing relationships. It is building networks. For example, this forum where we are getting connected, we are building the network, we are supporting each other. Right? The network, when we are building, it is a mutually supportive network, and influencing people in a positive way. That is social skills, right? So a strong social skill always allows leader to collaborate. That is the beauty we get from social skills, to collaborate and also to resolve conflicts. Conflict management is again a very crucial thing that any leader needs to know. If you are working with people, you may be an entrepreneur, you may be in a corporate, you may be owning a business from so many years, well established business, you may be an educator, a mentor, anyone. Resolving conflicts is also a part of social skills. It is a skill, and it brings people together. So these are five elements given by Daniel Goleman of emotional intelligence. Now, if you see these five stages of emotional intelligence, they are also, as I mentioned, these are also five stages that can be seen as a progressive journey, right? From one stage, self-awareness, to social skill, how the journey progresses. Each stage builds on the previous one. If you see, each stage is built on the foundation is the previous one, the previous stage. And it shapes the person from self-awareness to social influence. It makes a leader who is self-aware. Then finally, the person becomes an influential leader, so social influencer or an inspiring person. So this shows that it is progressive from one point to the another, that journey progresses. Now, okay, now let me take one by one with few examples that you may also have experienced. Sometimes we never know that, okay, this situation actually taught us self-awareness, or this situation actually taught us self-regulation or anything. So if you see self-awareness, it is about knowing yourself, right? I'll just tell you how it progresses from one stage to another with few examples. So awareness is all about knowing yourself. So this is the foundation, basically the foundation stage, where a person begins by recognizing their own emotions, as I mentioned, own strengths and even weaknesses, and also triggers. So for example, I noticed that I feel anxious, I feel nervous before representation. That is a realization, that is an awareness I have. So what happens? What is the positive marker here? That I will become more conscious. I'll put some conscious efforts to make things better instead of reacting blindly. Because I know that being anxious during such presentations or during a public speaking opportunity is something that I do always. So during that situation, I'll be more conscious to perform better. I'll make some conscious decisions or actions to do better. So that is a small example where self-awareness can actually lead to a positive marker that can help you as a leader. Then comes the self-regulation, which is about managing yourself, managing your emotions. Once you are aware, the next step is learning to manage emotions. And it's about control, it's about adaptability, staying calm under any difficult situation. So instead of snapping when I'm stressed, when I know I am stressed, I take deep breath, I take responsibility, I take time to think, and then I will respond. So I will not allow the emotions to control me. I will be the control here. I will control them. So when I knew already, when I was aware of my weakness, that I become anxious during the presentation, I did not let that feeling control me. I took time to reflect on it. I took some conscious steps to control it. Then I prepared myself to handle that situation. Now, next is driving yourself, which is motivation, right? So in this, with control comes always the direction. So a person channels emotions into positive energy always. So setting goals and staying resilient. For example, if I fail, now I'll carry forward the same example. Now I prepared myself for the presentation. I took time and make some took some efforts. But what if I fail? If I fail in that situation, what will happen? I will try again, right? Because I believe in the better, bigger picture. I know that it's okay. It's okay to fail. This is a learning curve. This is a learning opportunity. So let me learn. Let me learn from my failure. Let me understand what went wrong. So that is the progressive marker there. That is the progress marker there in this stage. So person becomes positive. Person becomes persistent. A person becomes self-directed, self-driven. So that is how it progresses from one stage to the other. Then fourth stage is empathy, right? Where you understand others also, not only yourself, but others. So here I know that I can sense my colleagues are worried, even though they haven't said it, right? They are not saying anything, but I know, I can see, I can feel that they are worried. That is this next stage where empathy comes into picture. So you progresses to that stage, and then towards the last stage where social skills comes into picture, where you lead with others, where you know I can see they are worried. I know they need help. I can feel the distress or the pain they are going through. So now I can motivate them. I can motivate my team. I can resolve the conflicts, or I can inspire through actions, through my connections. So that is the progressive marker in that scenario. So the person is seen as a leader when you uplift others. So that is how, through self-awareness, aware person, you become an influential leader, an inspiring leader, right? So that is the flow. That is the progressive journey which Daniel Goleman explained. So I'm sure that each one of you has lived through these stages at different points of your life, sometimes without even naming them as emotional intelligence. But this is a moment where you can actually think back a moment, take a moment and think. And when you held back an impulsive reaction, you would have, if you think and reflect on your past experiences, you will, I'm sure you will get a situation where you held back an impulsive reaction, when you encouraged yourself after a setback, when you felt another person's pain, or when you inspired someone to act. So those were not ordinary moments. Those were definitely not ordinary moments. At that time you may not have taken it very seriously, but they were milestones. Actually, if you think, they were milestones in your journey of emotional intelligence. So that is very important, that you reflect and take that lesson, or the journey transformed from that point. So now there is a question, that how consciously will we embrace these stages as leaders? It is very important that we take those things, implement those things as leaders, so that our influence goes beyond the success and beyond the timelines or the goals, and truly touches lives, right? So that is very important. As the club grow director, I was my duty was to build new clubs, and that was the time when I realized that this is not about the numbers. It is not about uh, chartering new clubs, like 10 new clubs or 15 new clubs, or getting an award on the big stage. It is not about all those things. It requires influence. You need to influence people so that they listen to you, they believe in what you are saying. It is not about authority, of course. So it was all about relationships, the way I manage people, or the way I inspired them or motivated them, the trust I built, and the shared vision. The vision I had was shared with my team members, with the people whom I worked, and that became a shared vision. So all these factors uh, are important as a leader. Now, if you see, Goldman emphasized what like he emphasized that while the intelligence, the intelligence quotient And technical skills are very important. Of course, they are important. No other thoughts about it. But emotional intelligence is what differentiates outstanding leaders, right? So it is the different quotient, the point where the difference comes. So it's the bridge between, of course, authority and humanity, and especially um, relevant when we speak about leadership with empathy. Now, I'll just talk about Nelson Mandela. You know what a legendary leader he was. So think of him, Nelson Mandela, after 27 years in the prison. He walked out. He didn't had any bitterness or nothing harsh or no rude things in his mind or heart, but he led everyone with compassion. That is emotional intelligence in action. So just wanted to give that small example here. So this is all about emotional intelligence, a bit of introduction and the different elements or phases of emotional intelligence in any person's life to become an influential leader. Now, why is it important for leaders, or how does it matter? Now, many of us grew up believing that IQ was the golden ticket to success, that if you are intelligent from childhood, we learn that, we hear that from our parents, from our teachers, that get these many marks, and only if you score this much, you will be placed in a better college, you will get a better job, all those things, right? We all of us have heard from our parents. But research and real world leadership examples or experiences of great leaders, they show us something different. It is not that what we have heard. IQ might get you the job for sure. If you are a top scorer in your college, of course, you will be placed in some reputed organization. You will get a job. But EQ, the emotional intelligence, determines how far you go. So that is the thing, that IQ can give you a job, but EQ will determine how far you go. Now, if you are an executive, or you are a corporate employee working in an organization, we have seen that leaders with high EQ, they can build trust. And this is not something that I am saying, or sorry, I'm not sure from when I was muted. Yeah. So if you are an executive, if you are working in a corporate, we have seen that leaders with high EQ, emotional quotient, emotional intelligence, they build trust, loyalty, and collaboration with their team members, right? So teams led by emotionally intelligent leaders, they show better engagement. There is always a lower turnover, and better performance by the employees. These are the proven facts, which are, if you Google, if you get some facts, you will see that, yeah, these are recorded facts. These are the data. You can find some data on this statement, that it is proven fact that a leader who is emotionally intelligent, the success rate or the better performance of executives or the members, it is seen. And even 90% of the top performing leaders, they score high in emotional intelligence. So it is directly proportional. And only 20% of low performers, they do in that case. So EI contributes basically twice as much to the leadership. So you know that leadership success as IQ. So now you know that it is important. If you are an executive, if you are working in the corporate world, your technical skills may open doors, as I mentioned, but your emotional intelligence keeps teams walking through with you. So that is something which is seen. And if you are an entrepreneur, emotional intelligence, there is, that it is important in that case also. Emotional intelligence makes investors, you have to deal with investors, customers, and employees. It makes all of these people, all the stakeholders feel connected to a common vision. Being an entrepreneur, you will be having a vision, right? So it is important that it becomes a shared vision. Only then you are a successful entrepreneur. And people invest in people, that we have always read, heard, that they invest in people. We have seen people saying that this is because of my personal relationship, because of word of mouth. So why it happens? It happens because they believe, they invest in the people. They are not investing. Most of the times they may believe in the product once, twice, but they can continue the journey forever only when they invest in the people. That is a proven fact. And your emotional intelligence actually builds that credibility for you. Third, if in case you are a retired person and you are into mentoring, you are just there to coach, guide people. Some of you must be doing that. You must be mentoring people, you are guiding people. So for these leaders also, emotional intelligence becomes that bridge. It just builds a bridge between the two sides, that passes on wisdom, the experience without any resistance. Your emotional intelligence makes your wisdom accessible basically, and relevant to the next generation, to the next the person next to you. So it is important in many other ways also. These were just a small with few examples I wanted to say. So leadership without emotional intelligence is like a lamp without electricity, you can say. It might look beautiful, but it doesn't light the way. So it is completely like that, right? So now, coming to the next section, which is very interesting, one which is very close to my heart, and I'm sure that you will also like to know more about it. But before that, let me give you some more example about the leadership and EQ. You all know Microsoft's Satya Nadella, right? Satya Nadella. So when Nadella became CEO in I think 2014, yeah. So Microsoft was criticized for being very rigid. So there were write-ups and articles about that they are very rigid, very competitive in nature, having a very stringent competitive culture. But instead of imposing more rules, more rules and more stringent things, rules in the organization, he actually started practicing empathy. He realized that empathy is the only way to go forward, and he started organizing listening sessions in the organization. Listening sessions, literally listening sessions with the employees, where he will just sit, listen to them, their concerns, their suggestions, their feedback, and started focusing on learning over knowing. He must be a very knowledgeable person, but you cannot be a person who is knows all kind of person. You have to be open to listen to others, and that's the strategy he followed. And we know the
Madam, can I say
results.
something now?
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, this particular example, I'm not in full agreement with you.
Okay.
Because the reason, if I take 2 minutes, Microsoft, when they created earlier, there was no competition for them. The entry into the competition was very high. The barrier to entry was very high. And so when they have to grow very big, the only competitor for them was Apple, which came later on, almost after, I would say, several years. But so they were growing very big, and they were not having any competition. So they didn't have to do all these things because they had an organization with a single goal to grow like an army. But when Nadella took over, there a lot of competition was there. The market has changed. Microsoft was not an easy go up, and a lot of people are leaving Microsoft. Personal turnover was very high. Company was not in the smooth shape, and he had to change his strategy to survive and grow. So it is not because Natala was changed suddenly. It is because of the competition, problems, and issues people are learning over. They are forced to change. Whether it's Natala or anyone, even if you and me would have been like that,
Correct.
the board would have forced us to change it. It's not Natala's idea. It was the situation, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, no, completely. I agree to what you said, sir. The situation brought that change, but I'm focusing more on the what changes was brought in during that situation. Like it was important to listen to the members or listen to um, their concerns, and because that actually helped in collaboration. The collaboration soared, the market value tripled, all those things happened.
But
So
that's my point, ma'am. Because if you look at it, if you're growing, you're creating a product. Let's take Apple, for example. In 2002 or 2003, iPhone was really ready to go to the market. But Steve Jobs wanted touchscreen. He didn't want to go and compete with Nokia and all these things without a button system. He wanted a touch screen. All the people said touch screen is not possible because it is a different technology. We can't do it. And he insisted and fought and shouted, and he behaved like a madman. If you look at it, all these things, he would behave like a madman, push them so hard to the extreme limit, saying that without touch screen, I'm not releasing iPhone. That is a USP, unique selling point for me to beat the market. 4 years he waited, and 2007 he introduced after insisting. He never listened to anybody. All this empathy, all this nothing. He said, "This is my product. I have to go." But iPhone 7 was introduced, iPhone 4 was introduced in 3 or 4 in 2007, became an extreme success, taking 30% of the market on a day one. And that when you are in a situation like this, like Steve Jobs, all these questions about listening to 25 people and they will saying no, you will fail, man. So there's a situational context, conditions, and sensitive dependencies that defines how you work as a leader instead of always following some simple determined method. This is my point of view. Sorry.
No, completely fine, sir. I agree. It is 100% situational. Sometimes being authoritative as a leader is important. Sometimes it is important that you have to take up the situation in your hands and make some decisions. At that time, it is not possible to take suggestions from each and every. But there are times when making some small changes in the work culture actually helps. So it is situational. There is no two ways on that, sir. Anyways, thank you so much for sharing and sharing your thoughts here, sir. So as we discussed, so emotional intelligence, it matters because leadership is not always, of course sometimes it does, but it is not always about managing the numbers. Sometimes where uh, the situation, as sir mentioned, requires, then of course you have to, but otherwise it is all about managing the people. If the people who are working are not in line or not having or sharing the vision is not a shared vision, then the system fails also at times. And we also have such examples too. So once we know why it matters, the why is very important here. And the next question is, where do we begin with? How to start? And that's where self-awareness, self-regulation, all these things comes into picture. Now, let us go to the next part, which is the NLP and the connect between emotional intelligence and the NLP. So, I believe most of you knows and have heard about NLP, but for people who have not heard about NLP, I would like to talk. And if anyone knows already, please share your thoughts. What do you think? What is NLP? Anyone knows already about NLP?
It is about cognizant, things, what you think, how you reacted, about your mind, your limbic system, and all other parts. So this is about those things. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So NLP basically it stands for Neuro Linguistic Program. It has three parts. Just for the benefits of people who doesn't know about NLP. So neuro, the first is neuro, which is all about how your brain and mind basically process the experiences you go through. And second is linguistic. It's the language we use, right? The language we use both with others and with ourselves. The language to process those experiences in our brain. And third one is programming, which is the patterns of thinking, the behavior we follow, sometimes most of the times without realizing it. So in simple terms, NLP is all about understanding how our thoughts, our words and actions are connected, and learning how to change those things, how to change them to get better results. So as a leader, knowing these things will definitely help, because you can actually understand the thoughts, the words, your own actions, and then you can change them, or you can process them, program them, so that you can get a better outcome, you can get a better result. So that is the relation between the emotional intelligence and NLP. If someone always says that I am, just an example, that if you are saying that I am terrible at this, I am not good at this, whenever I do this thing, I always fail, or I fumble, or I fall. So they feel stuck always with that thought. They will always feel stuck. Um, they will lose confidence. They will not feel that zeal to do these things again. So using these NLP techniques, or using the neuro linguistic programming, they can actually reframe the thoughts. I'm just giving an example that how does it help. You can actually reframe that thought, that you can say that I'm still learning this, it's okay, I failed this time, but this is my learning stage, I'm learning this. That small language, or that small shift in your thoughts, it actually changes the whole scenario, right? It changes the situation for you, and it will give you that confidence, it will give you the courage to act on it. So this is how the NLP works. So just to tell it in a shorter form, NLP is like having a manual. Imagine you are having a manual for your mind. You are having a manual that is guiding you. It helps you to think better. It helps you to communicate better. It helps you to lead in a better way. So it is like that. So understanding NLP and emotional intelligence, both, it will definitely help you as a leader. So knowing these techniques or NLP tools specifically for emotional intelligence is something important, because they turn your awareness. I spoke about awareness, being aware of your own self. So awareness into action. It will help you to convert that awareness into action. And emotional intelligence is not just about understanding emotions, as I said. It's about applying that understanding in the real situations. So it is not only for the theory, but practically you have to implement it, right? So you have to implement in the real situation. So NLP basically is a practical way to do that. It will help you to practically do that. They make, if you cut it down or break it down into more detail, uh, basically they make emotional intelligence measurable and usable. Like instead of saying be empathetic, NLP will show how to build rapport, how to be empathetic. It will show you that, right? We have some techniques for that. So they help in reframing challenges. So for example, if there is a conflict, there is a failure, there is a situation where you are stressed, it will change that situation, or it will change your perspective, it will change your mindset. Okay, sorry. It will change that situation into the opportunities of growth. So it will have a perspective shift. That is how it helps. They improve communication. It will help in a better communication. I always feel that leadership and communication goes hand in hand. If you are a good leader, you have to be a better communicator, a good communicator. Otherwise, you cannot share the message, you cannot share the vision, you cannot share anything with your team members. So it is very important to be a better communicator or a good, effective communicator. So these techniques or NLP will also improve your communication by matching uh, communication. By communication, I don't mean the language, the maybe the English language or the vocabulary. I don't mean that. I mean that how effectively you can reach or touch the hearts of your members, or how effectively you can share the message, share the idea to your members. So it can be done by matching tone, okay, to the matching the body language, matching the words, matching the feel, matching the emotions. So leaders can connect in a very different level with your team members. So that is something that we can learn from NLP. And it also helps you to enhance self management, right? So, tools like there are some tools that we will see, like reframing, anchoring. So, it helps a leader to stay calm in any difficult situation. So, these are few practices that we can follow and we can do. So NLP basically shows you the way, how the how part of the whole concept that we were discussing will become easier with NLP, and to practice so that we can practice it in our day-to-day life. So let us now go to the interesting part, some practical tools for all these elements that we spoke right now. So first is the self-awareness, right? So there are some tools that we can actually practice. The first one is daily reflection and journaling, very basic. We even tell this to our kids, that's journal, do journaling. So this is very powerful. It may sound very simple, very basic, but it is very powerful. So journaling means what? uh, Writing something daily, writing it down, the important points or the anecdote that happened in that day, like what triggered me today. For example, I am journaling for today. Before going to bed, I am writing it down, what triggered me today, what was that incident, and what was that specific thing that triggered me today, and how did I responded at that situation. Writing it that make you aware that these are the things that are affecting you. It will make you aware about yourself. So that is a very good technique, very simple, anyone can practice, even a child can do, and it is a very good way to teach them about self-awareness. So that is one way to do that. Next, to do feedback seeking. So feedback seeking is like as colleagues or as peers, team members, we can ask for feedback. Like, do you, for example, if I am doing something or I am completing a task, a project or something, I can ask my colleague, I can ask my friend, a peer who is working with me, that can you give me one suggestion? How can I improve this? We usually do that in our Toastmasters also. It's a very common practice where we give feedback to the peers. We don't go to our teacher or guide or someone who is at the that level for feedback. Always we can always ask feedback to our peers too, that can you suggest me one thing that I need to improve, right? So that is also one simple way to be aware of your own self. And another tool is mindfulness. Okay, mindfulness is like it is something similar to meditation. Just take few minutes, 5 to 10 minutes daily. Keep that time for yourself where you can just reflect on your emotions, what you went through. Don't think too much about it. Don't be judgmental that I should have done this, I should not have done that. Don't be judgmental or anything. Just reflect on whatever happened, whatever emotions you went through throughout the day. It will allow you to notice. The point here is not to be judgmental or not to come to any conclusion. This exercise is only done to notice your emotions, that how did you react, what did you feel, what did you went through because of that situation or that incident. It is just to reflect on that and not to come to any conclusion. So these are few basic techniques that anyone can do. You can share with even students who are there in your family. Next, we have self-regulation. So self-regulation also have some interesting techniques. One technique is the 6-second rule. It is a simple NLP technique. So it is believed that the emotional impulses, it lasts about 6 to 8 seconds, 6 seconds approximately in the brain. So it is all about pausing, right? It is all about pausing. For example, you have an emotional impulse, you would have heard this. It's a very common practice, but we usually doesn't give this name. But in NLP, it is called as the 6-second rule. Usually, we say that whenever you are angry or whenever you come across such situation, don't react immediately, right? We also give this suggestions to many people. We say that take a pause, just take a deep breath, and just slow down, calm, and then after some time react. So this is exactly the same, that rule, that whenever you are in that situation where you are very impulsive, just take that 6-second break, a few second break, and that will actually calm you down. That will help you to regain that control. So it's a very simple practice that you can all do. And next we have NLP anchoring, very interesting thing to regulate yourself. It is like uh, recall a memory when you felt very confident and calm and very empowered. You have to think about one situation when you were from your past, when you felt very confident. For example, maybe an opportunity where you got to address thousands of people onto the stage. You were there speaking on the stage very confidently, in a powerful way, and you were addressing, and people were listening, they were getting influenced by you. Maybe that situation, that whenever you think about that situation, the same emotions comes back to you. Or maybe whenever you got some acknowledgement, some recognition in front of some people, in front of good number of people, where you felt very proud of yourself. Or maybe you would have done something very nice, very kind, or to someone, where you felt satisfied, where you felt calm, where you felt happy. Any kind of situation which was very positive, which gave you strength, which gave you that calmness. So think about that situation. Now, link that emotion to a physical action, any small physical action. For example, pressing your thumb with the finger like this. Okay, so like this. So what you have to do is you have to just think about that incidents and spend few minutes every day and practice. While thinking, you have to keep repeating that action. So it is linking a desired emotional state to a physical action that triggers some positivity in you. So what this does is, slowly when you practice this, leaders can, anyone actually can switch on, you can switch on the resourceful emotional states in stressful moments. So in that, that when you do this action, it is connected to that emotion. So when you slowly start doing that, you will again go back to the same strength. it will not happen suddenly or after once or twice. You have to do it continuously for longer period. So recall. So steps are very simple. You have to just recall a time when you felt calm, controlled, powerful, empowered, anything. And at that emotional peak, press your thumb and your forefinger together. You can use that action. Repeat with the other positive memories that can strengthen that anchor. No, it is anchoring both the things. And next time when you feel stressed and when you feel under pressure, just press that anchor and access the calmness or the same emotion that you felt that day. So it prevents from emotional hijacking that I mentioned in the beginning. It helps leaders to respond instead of reacting. So that is again a very good technique. Second. Yeah. So next we have reframing. Reframing is again a very interesting technique under NLP. So instead of seeing conflict, right, we usually see conflict as a threat. We see conflicts as a threat. So reframe it as an opportunity to understand better. For example, in simple words, let me give you a small example. Two colleagues usually disagree during the meeting. It may be you and your friend. You are both of you disagree on certain topic. One sees a conflict. One, you may feel that okay, this is a conflict because we are having a disagreement, we are arguing, but and you try to be very defensive. You may think that the other person is attacking my idea, is not agreeing with my brilliant idea. You may think that way. But with reframing, by reframing, the perspective actually shifts. You can think about that her questions are helping me to see gaps in my idea. You can think that way, right? It is shifting your perspective. So you can think the other way, that actually those questions or those arguments are helping me to see certain gaps in my own idea. This is an opportunity to refine my idea. This is the opportunity to make it better, make it stronger. So instead of shutting down completely at that point, the person begins to listen. You are more open to that discussion. You are more open to the collaboration. You are more open to find out a better solution. So that will turn the whole situation from tension into a growth oriented situation. So that is the reframing. So it is reframing the whole scenario or the perspective, basically. So, so that is something you all, maybe you all would have experienced something like that already. So let us do a small activity here. I want a participation from all of you. Let us try this out. Something that will be interesting. So you all have to close your eyes. Okay, close your eyes for some time. I want all of you to do this. Please close your eyes. Now recall a recent stressful situation. Recent thing. It can be a very small situation that happened to you, maybe a work challenge, a tensed conversation with your friends, with your colleague, or a difficult leadership decision that you took. Just recall that stressful situation. Now, visualize a big red pause button. Okay. Now visualize, now you have thought about that situation. Now think about a red dot button, a pause button in front of you. Keep your eyes closed. Now imagine you pressing that button. Pressing that button. Okay, so now count for 6 seconds. Breathe deeply when you are doing this. Count to 6. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you have to do this situation in your mind again. Again, do the same. But this time, imagine yourself responding with calmness, with a better clarity and a better control. Right? You have to redo the same. Now, this time, go back to the same situation. Imagine yourself that you are handling a situation in a better way, better clarity, better control, better calmness. Keep your eyes closed. Imagine the situation till I ask you to open. Yes, now you all can close your eyes. So this is one small activity that you all can try whenever you have gone through any stressful situation where you are not, you feel that you would have done something better. This will give you more clarity and it will tune your mind for the future. Whenever such situation comes, you will handle the situation in a better way. So this is again a technique called as the pause button. Very interesting. You all can try that. So I would love to get some responses if you have actually done this. How did you feel? How did you feel while doing this? Any thoughts on this? What do you think the response was different from the actual situation? And after pause button, your response was little different.
Yeah, I realized that maybe the cause of my behavior that time, or I realized there was unclear role and responsibility, which created to the situation. So when you are calm, then you look at it, okay, what is that we could have done for that time where there is clarity and role, that the situation would not have arisen, at that part. That could be one for me, I would say, for my what I thought from the situation.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Any other thoughts? Anyone else would like to share something after this exercise?
For me, I think it's a good practice session for, instead of reacting, you should respond. How to respond.
Yes. So basically, it is all about, taking that pause, having that pause before you react to anything. It is all, we say that don't speak just to respond. You have to listen, you have to take a pause, reflect, and then respond to the situation. So it is the same thing. So self-regulation is not always about expressing your, suppressing your emotions. There is no need to suppress or hold yourself. It is about managing them. So how well you can manage so that it can serve us, it should not sabotage anything. So it is all about managing it in a right way. So it is recognizing your emotions, and it also helps to respond you in a better way, wisely. So this is a very good practice that can be done by anyone. Now there are some techniques for NLP. NLP, as I mentioned, it is not sympathy. It also has types. If you see, not NLP, empathy. So empathy also has different types. For example, the cognitive, which means I understand you. Okay, which means I understands you. I know what you're feeling. And next one is emotional. Like I feel with you, the way you feel, the pain, what you are going through, I can actually feel that. Right. So that is emotional. And third one is compassionate. Compassionate means where I take some step, actionable step to help that person, to make that person better. because now you feel that person, but what are you actually doing to make that feel better? So that is the compassionate way. So all these three forms are empathy. Even if you are understanding the other person, that is empathy. When you feel, when you also are feeling that pain, that is empathy, that is emotional empathy. And then comes the compassionate form of empathy, when you can help, when you actually take that effort and step towards helping the other person to make that feel better, person feel better. So this is something that can help you in any walk of life, in your leadership journey. I personally have practice these things a lot, because the kind of work I do, it really needs that empathetic leadership. You heard in my bio that I was a scientist in University of Madras, and then my career had a transition where I shifted from that to education sector, because that was something that I always wanted to do from my childhood, because of certain circumstances or some learnings that I had during my young age. I wanted to do something in the education field, and I realized that empathy, or being an empathetic leader, is very important when you are especially dealing with human beings. And uh, even during my term as the club growth director, or even when I was in Toastmasters, here we usually do a program called Distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest level of education in Toastmasters. So when I was doing that program, I got the opportunity to do my DTM project. It is called Distinguished Toastmasters program. So the DTM project was basically, we have to take the learnings of Toastmasters out in the outside world. We have to do some practical things, implement those learnings. And because I was associated with an orphanage, I decided to do something with the kids of that orphanage. And that is when I came up with the program for the children, to help them learn some soft skills and life skills that can help them build in their future. Computer related courses, their communication, helping them to read better, health and hygiene, to help them in goal setting. So many such skills that can actually have an impact in their growth. So those sessions were planned. It was a 3 to 6 months long program, and during that program, I understood that this empathetic leadership is the most important uh, skill that as a leader you can have. Because if you're not connected with your team, if you're not connected with the people with whom you are working, you will never get the desired outcome. And through that experience, I held, because I was there to listen to them, to listen their thoughts, their concerns, uh, everything they are going through. When you are open, you are giving your ears, not only just hearing, but actual listening, understanding with empathy, that makes you a better leader. And we were able to train around more than 150 students who were there in that orphanage. And the program did not stop there for 6 months. It is still continuing. So I'm very happy that this one skill, if you're not empathetic, if you're just going there thinking that, okay, I have to give some courses, teach them and come back, no, that will never have that impact. So there is a thin line between these two. Yeah. So just wanted to share that personal experience with all of you. So for um, uh, empathy, yeah, we have a technique called mirroring. Mirroring, as the name says, it is about matching the body language of the other person. Body language, not only the body language, it is also about the matching their tone, to build subconscious rapport with the other person. So how is it done now? Mirroring is the practice of uh, no matching the another person's body language, their gestures, their posture, their facial expressions, or even sometimes the tone of the voice in a very subtle way. So it works on the principle that people feel more. It's a proven uh, psychological principle, which says that people feel more comfortable and connected with those who are like them. imagine if it happens many times. You would have seen, especially the educators will realize that in a classroom, when there are different type of students, one student who is who is shy, scared to answer, scared to even communicate with the peers or with others, that student will be always scared and quiet in the class, whereas the other person who is very loud, fearless, will be dominating, right? So in this situation, the other student will feel scared, is not comfortable, uh, doesn't feel positive to speak up. So it is very important that at that time the educator show that empathy by lowering the tone. You cannot shout at that situation that why are you not speaking, come on. No, you cannot do that. That is not the right way. You have to be more empathetic, lower your tone, or your expressions, the way that person, the child understands. So this is a proven uh, technique that will help. It works on principle that it makes comfortable people comfortable and connected with those who are like them. So when it is done naturally, it builds a very subconscious rapport and trust between the people. So if for example, if someone leans forward while talking, right, like the posture is like that, little bit of leaning is there, you can gently lean forward, or you cannot be like very strictly sitting like that and not showing any comfortable body language. The other person will feel little bit hesitant uh, in her mind or in his mind. So if they speak in a very calm tone, slow tone, adjust your pace and tone and respond in that way, because only then the conversation or the communication will go forward. Otherwise it may start, but it will stop, it will not continue and have a outcome, desired outcome. If they smile or not, you can of course mirror that gesture, and you can also smile back and respond. This is very common, right? Imagine if you are smiling at someone and speaking, and the other person is having a very serious face, not smiling, not uh, responding in the same way. You would not like to continue that conversation, or it will not have that positive impact on you, even though if you complete the conversation. So it is about copying. I mean, it is not like copying someone or mimicking someone. Rather, it is all about aligning with the other person's communication style. So this alignment, it always creates a sense of understanding and comfort, making conversation. You all can try it out and see that it helps. uh, Another technique between technique for empathy is pacing and leading. Okay,
Madam,
pacing.
can I say something here?
Yes, sir. Of course.
Mirroring has been a major controversial point in latest psychology.
Okay.
Mainly, if you look at mirroring, it's always an alignment with the like-minded things. But in the world, when you go out, everything is diversified. Everything is a competitive world. For example, a Dutch princess at home she's a princess at home, but as soon as she steps outside the door, it's a competing world. Same thing happens with the people from the college students, protected by the parents, protected by college and community. When they go into real world, it's a competition. They don't
Yeah.
see like-minded people, and that's one of the reasons today. One of the recent survey we've seen, the diverse cases of people less than 30 years or within the first year of marriage, is mainly happening because they're expecting the partner to be mirroring them, because it's been taught like this. So recent surveys, psychologists saying that mirroring is a negative consequences. You should understand diversity is a part of life, and that's how you have to live. You cannot align yourself. I'm just a thought I wanted to share.
Yes, sir. Diversity is definitely a point there, but this is not about changing that other person. You are more like, I mean, what example you have shared here is more about changing the person or personality. Here, we are not talking about changing the personality of that person. It is just to be empathetic whenever the situation requires. Whenever a person is in a feeling low or sharing something to you, as a leader, you can come down to that level to listen to that, to make that person comfortable. So it is only for that person to be empathetic at that situation. It is not that you have to mirror the personality of the person completely always and be like that person like that. It is more like when you talk to someone, it is very basic, sir. When you are talking to someone, you are having a smiling face, but the other person doesn't respond like that. You may converse, you may have that discussion, but later on, it will not leave that impact on you. It will definitely, you will think that, no, he's rude or he's arrogant and all those things. All these things comes up naturally. This is a normal, psyche that anyone will have. So it is just that simple uh, theory. Yeah. Thank you, sir, for sharing that once again. So we were talking about pacing and leading. Pacing and leading, which means that people meeting where they are emotionally, mentally, or physically, you join their state by acknowledging their feelings. Now, here also same thing. You are acknowledging their feelings at that situation, because that that moment they require that support or that understanding to come out of that situation, basically. So it is, I'm sharing these things because any leadership journey, you may come across such situations where your team members or your peers, they are going through that situation where building trust or showing that empathy is very important. That can actually change the perspective or change the scenario. So during such situations, you definitely can use these techniques. It is not about just forcing someone or to expect someone to be like you, or copy or mimicking the way you do things. So leading means gradually guiding them towards a more resourceful and positive state of mind, basically. For example, uh, imagine a team member is frustrated after a project setback. No, you have a project failure or a setback. So in pacing, what will you do? You acknowledge, right? You acknowledge that, yeah, I see that you are upset. You can say that I see you can upset. It was tough situation. I agree that it was not that easy, and anyone would feel that stress and would feel the way you are feeling. So by saying these things, you are actually matching the emotional state. As a leader, you can of course, you may feel bad, you may feel angry, you may feel dejected because the person did not fulfill the expectations. You have those options too. You can shout at the person or give a negative response, but how is it helping uh, is a question. Not every time it helps, but responding in a positive way by doing this pacing will always have the positive impact in the employee's mind or in your team member's mind. Right, that is the only point here. So leading, then once you do pacing, then comes leading. So once you feel understood, when the other person understands that, okay, you know the situation, you are also in line because you are understanding the situation he or she is in. So now you can shift it to the leading part, that let's look at what worked and how we can use it to bounce back. What did not work, what can be done, or you can just dig deeper into that situation and have a healthy discussion, asking that why this failure happened or what went wrong, what can be done better. So that can actually lead to optimism, that can lead to problem solving situation. So this is something that we can do a pacing and leading. Pacing is first letting the other person know that you understand the situation, whatever he or she is in. And leading is taking that person to a better scenario or better situation, leading to a better optimistic state. So that is pacing and leading. Now we can just try one small activity to just break this here. So think of a person, okay, who challenged you as a leader. Anyone in your office or anywhere outside in the organization where you are, someone who is challenging you always as a leader. Imagine, think about that person. Now imagine that stepping into their shoes. It can be a situation also where you felt challenged by that person. Now step into their shoes and again think from that perspective. Think that why that person said, why would have that person said? what have been their struggle in that situation. So any one of you can think and share your thoughts that how does that changed your perspective after thinking like that? Any one of you can share that example. Think of a person who challenged you as a leader, and now you have to think into step into their shoes and think from their perspective, and then tell that how does your perspective changed because of that.
Can I come?
Yes.
So we can have a one-to-one meeting with the person and try to understand his perspective, because he may also be right. He may also be, and then take the decision after listening him, and we can both communicate coolly and then decide. And rather than having confrontation and lingering on the thing, it should be done as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. But
Good morning, Madam Aswathy. Can I
yes,
say
sir.
a few? Yeah. One is when there is a situation like this, and the other person is full of negative thoughts, negative attitudes, and always to find fault and challenge the leadership and the good deeds or the good services provided by the leader. If the person is going to just for the sake of challenging and creating bottlenecks and hurdles in his rendering the services to the
Yeah.
society, in that situation what to do? Even if you
But-
step into his shoes, how are you going to change his mind? Because we don't want to have the negative thoughts, negative attitudes, or negatively charged mind, and the attitude is full of negativity. What to do
Yeah.
in that situation?
Can I come? Can I come?
Yes, yes, sir.
So we can make him leader. We can ask him. We can delegate certain power to him. I say, you do it now. So this is the situation. So we are all, with you. So though I am a leader, but I empower you. Please, you give your suggestion and you give him chance to do it. Let us see what the results are, what he says. Thank you.
I would like to add upon something here again. He was a failed leader, and then the new leader has come, and the new leader is trying to bring in changes and devoting his full time in the public service. And again, if you are going to empower the same man with complete negative attitudes, uh,
Yes.
how the person is going to change? How by empowering him with the responsibilities of doing the same service, because he is a proven failed leader.
Yes. I
What to do
understand,
in
sir.
that
Yeah.
situation? What to do in that situation? I have come across personally in that situation.
Yes.
How much ever you try to bend yourself, accommodate yourself, understand his egos and accommodate his egos and adjust yourself, bend yourself, go and try and do all techniques, but the mind will not change. Is not going to change because he is fully negatively charged. In that
Kishore,
situation, what to do?
Kishore
Can I
Kumar
add a
here, sir.
point?
Can I say something?
Yes,
Can
yes, please.
team building can help in this situation, building a good team and
Okay.
Can I add a
Sure.
point?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for all these suggestions and your thoughts. I personally feel that being a leader, I understand your question, sir, that you have tried everything, and finally you are failed in this situation because that person is not changing at all. I
Absolutely.
mean, I think you wanted to set this example. So I
Absolutely.
feel as a leader, you definitely every effective leader will have a set of core values for the organization, for your initiative, or for whatever you are doing. You will have some core values that you follow. If at some point you feel that the core values are not followed by the team members and they are not aligned with those values, then definitely the first thing is you need to confront that person and let that person make no try to make them understand. If still that person is not understanding and doing that intentionally just to spoil, no, there are some people like
Exactly.
that who do this intentionally to spoil
Yeah.
the situation.
Yeah.
I know where you are coming from. So in that situation you have to be an authoritative leader. You have to take that person out of that scenario so that things doesn't go wrong anymore. So I
Yeah.
personally feel that being an authoritative leader at times really helps, because you need to be very authoritative at points. You need to take some decisions which may not be welcomed by some, but it is important, still it is important. So this
Yeah.
situation can be that one situation where you have to take some steps like that. I I think someone is can you please mute yourself, whoever is not muted? So I hope that answers your question, sir. I mean, this is my personal view.
Yeah, that's right. It's a
Yeah.
wonderful thought you have given and wonderful suggestion. Anyway, I tried my best and I tried to, whatever good steps you take
Please mute. Please mute.
in the interest of the public service,
Please mute.
the person
Someone.
would challenge always. So, of course,
Yes.
your points are well taken, and we would try and start, in our new leadership role.
Please mute.
Thanks a lot for Dr. Ashwati. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
I
sir.
got your point.
You
Thank you.
see, there is one word. Please
Yes, sir.
mute. Please mute. Please mute. Who is there? There is one word: blow hot, blow cold. If you are blowing cold, then
Yes.
start blowing hot. Okay, that is the only
Yes.
way. That is the only way. And blow hot.
Very
Yeah.
good point.
That
Thank
is
you. Thank you.
something that in leadership we need to follow, that we cannot be one type of leader always. We need to change based according to the situations. Sometimes you have to be empathetic, at times you have to be authoritative. So it is important that you understand the situation and that then act accordingly. So that's something.
Exactly. There is a
But in
Lakshman
a
Rekha,
practical
a
situation,
boundary
madam,
line beyond which one has to become authoritative.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There is one line in Hindi. Danda vigda tigdonga. Your danda hai
समझ
na,
गए.
then
Yeah.
use this stick.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
pyar se-
Thanks a lot.
We say that घी सीधी उंगली से नहीं तो टेढ़ी उंगली टेढ़ी करनी पड़ती है. So it's like then when work it doesn't happen in the right straight
सही
way, then
बात
you
है.
have to go
सही
it
बात
बिल्कुल
is
है.
सही बात
on a lighter note. Yes.
Say,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
that's
you are right. You are right. You are
the
right.
right.
the real challenge, madam, in the leadership, where it comes from is when there is a hierarchical method and that things are going and the challenges comes, everything is okay. That is all in a system. But the real challenge for leadership, and I think most of the people who are in the meeting today would have seen this or observed it or even experienced it, is when the leadership is challenged by jealousy or by competition or by some other emotions within the team. For example, if two people are, I've seen this very often in my projects below me. Whenever we do that kind of thing, and what happens is that if there are three, let's say three people of the same category, and one of them is going to be promoted as a leader, all of them are colleagues, and suddenly tomorrow one day one guy becomes a leader and the other two has to report to him. It becomes a big matter of self-prestige and jealousy, and the challenges starts coming in from an intended purpose to harm him or dishonor him, that he's not suitable for the job and they are better. And that happens. That is one challenge which happened with the intended purpose. When there is no intended purpose, people do it with respect to ignorance or misunderstanding or misconception. It is easy to resolve the issue. when there's an intended purpose to challenge because of various reasons, whatever it is, as I mentioned, one of them is where the leadership challenges comes in at instant locations. There will not be any time to go back to the blueprint, calling to the table and talking to you, making it all right, because it may challenge can come in front of the board, in front of the CEO, in front of the chief technical officer. So that challenges has to be faced immediately, and there the challenge is different. That's where most of the leaders fail, because they do not know how to manage an obstacle at the instantaneous scene. They can do it 2 days later, but not at the immediate scene. That's the biggest challenge, I would say.
Very well explained.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you.
See,
Thank you for
there is
that.
there
Yeah.
is one Adams equity theory.
Okay.
It all explains about all biases. Everybody starts comparing. Even you are not competent, you say yes, I am fit for leadership, I am fit for promotion. People start comparing. The only way out, only solution is to keep total transparency and total communication to all these people that this is how we are going to choose this man as a leader with all the team members. Not, it should not be instant. It should be, there should be a proper journey for this. Daily we should try to communicate with people and have transparency that will resolve this issue. Thank you.
Yes, I agree, sir.
One point here to make,
Yeah.
excuse me,
Yes, please.
all the examples which came, I listen when stepping into other person's shoe is understanding what he is saying and what his status is. And all these examples which came, when stepping into their shoes also, the dominant was, I am correct, mine is correct, he has to follow mine. That sort of an example. That is not the basic purpose of stepping into other person's shoe. Stepping into other person's shoes, meaning understanding good in him, what he says. It is not that always we are good and the other person is always wrong. When the mentality change is required, that is what the basic purpose of stepping into other person's shoes, I feel. And when you start realizing that there's a good point in his side also, then we will start mending ourselves a little bit. And in one example, he said that you have got to immediately react, immediately stepping into other person's shoes, and that is not possible in a meeting scenario. In those situations, you can remain bit silent to avoid the reactions, and then later you can amend the situation, you can talk to him, and this may change the perspective totally, and that person may become a good, whether he is a boss or subordinate, he will become a good person for you. This I practiced and I used it. It is a successful way. Just I want to make one. That's all.
That is a good point, sir. But the most important thing is that there's a very good point what he said, actually. Immediate reactions, right? While we do that, there is also a nuance into that. For example, let's say you are see, sometimes the chairman or the CEO of an organization is only coming for that particular meeting. He doesn't have time to come 10 times or 15 times. He's just coming for that particular meeting. And say, let's say the leader has to convince him of the project, the budget, whatever it is, right? And then this is a time when a harmful intent is applied to challenge him in front of the CEO to make him to fail. In a situation like this, he cannot keep quiet. If he keeps quiet, the CEO will accept the other people's argument that he does not have any counter argument and go away. It's happened so many times across the world. In fact, if you look at, you put a survey of the biggest challenges, this is the one. People are we cannot say silent there. When the CEO will think otherwise, he will take up the same thing happened in a judge in a court. If the two advocates are ordered, final argument is going on, and if there's a harmful intent of wrong thing is done, if it's not countering that in front of the judge, it's again the judgment or verdict can go in a different way. Certain situations where the real challenge. See what we are talking, sir, is that is always when you talk about general ideas. Even Dale Goldman is not the authority of emotional intelligence. He wrote something in 1995 and below, and after happened. But today, a lot of things have changed in the world, the way industry works and the way the model works. So the capitalism has changed. So what is the challenge is that when you are doing a routine, normal, low, we call it as lowest common denominators. Everything applies. A general thing will apply in a lowest common denominator with all the people, general condition, general issue, general problems, when the impact is very low. That is all applicable. Everything is applicable, what you are talking. But the moment the impact is very high, the impact is major, that is where the leaders cannot handle it. See, that is where there is no solution today, how to train them in the real situation. Because for that, the practical knowledge, the domain mastery has to be there to understand the real-time situations and teach the leaders to manage it. And that is where this is a real problem. I mean, it is a real practical issue which is difficult to solve. So these are the issues, sir, actually. So I just wanted to raise it up, say that it's a good discussion because everybody is discussing beautifully. One of the best sessions I've attended in AABN. Thank you.
Muthu
Yeah, I
sir,
have one point.
Yes.
Only one point I want to mention is what you said is perfect. This what Dr. Ashwati explained, stepping into the shoes and all, is post incident. Post incident, I mean, immediately you got to do certain thing in the meeting that is not discussed here. Post, you got to change yourself. You got to live with him. You got to be with him. If this example of stepping into shoe is understanding will help in to avoid any embarrassment in the future situation. Like it may even lead to a situation in the further all the discussions. He is always with you, and he never raises any objection to you. So that is what the basic purpose I feel Dr. Aswathy mentioned. It is not for the that particular moment or that particular incident. This is for mending the relations forever post incidents too. That's
Yes,
what I want
exactly,
to
sir.
conclude.
It is all about
just
basically the
30 seconds.
leadership mindset also.
Yeah,
Like
can I come?
you are more open to the other perspective. It's not
Can I?
that you as a leader, you are the one, you are the authority, you are always right. When you have that kind of attitude, many situations can be avoided, many conflicts can be avoided. You may have the better outcome. So it's all starts from having that mindset. Uh,
So I
yeah,
want
I'm
please.
to.
adding to
I
I'm adding
want
to Mr. Muthukumar's
I
beautiful
want to.
explanation
Yes.
and the
I
examples he gave.
Yeah.
That is, when a person is confronting or challenging the CEO or the leader with a bad intent out of purely jealousy, then
Yeah.
he has to be, countered and using the authoritarian, techniques.
I
Yeah.
want to add on Muthu Kumarji's statement that Goldsman. That is why we say no theory is final. All
Yeah.
theories are
Evolving.
yeah, all theories are evolving. You are right.
Yes.
All theories are we when we find certain gaps, now new theory will come. Immediately new theory will come. So
Yes.
this is all a journey. It is nothing is final. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I mean, this discussion is very insightful for me too. I'm learning so much through this discussion. So thanks to all of you for sharing your thoughts at this point.
It's also a learning it is a good learning for us also, like your pause button. It's a very good learning for me.
Thank you, sir. So moving forward with the discussion, we spoke about social skills. So reframing is again, I think I already mentioned about this technique. This is basically about changing the way we interpret a situation. So the situation itself doesn't change. Situation always it will remains the same, but how we perceive and respond to it can change definitely. So when something appears as a problem, for example, we no any situation, so we usually reframe it to see the hidden opportunities. So there will be always two sides of to the coin, right? So we see that side which is in front of us, but this reframing is to see the other side of the coin also in the simple terms. So for example, a leader, you may receive as a leader, you may receive feedback, a very tough feedback from your peers or any team member, but you may also you may feel that, oh, people they don't respect me or they didn't like. You may try to be more defensive. You may feel depressed or stressed at that situation because people are giving very tough feedback to you. But on the other hand, you can also think from the other side that, okay, they are giving me suggestions. I can actually work on it, and these suggestions can help me. So you can reframe that thing, and it will help you in that situation. So that is all about reframing. So they can, you may think that, okay, they are taking that time and effort, they are caring for me, that is why the feedbacks are given. So you can reframe that situation. So this actually helps in a better collaboration and building a better relationship with people rather than ending into a conflict. So reframing is again changing the perspective. So these are the few techniques that we already discussed: the anchoring, mirroring, questioning about the situation, reframing, then the emotional awareness reset, the pause button, which is called as the swish pattern, that activity that we did, the pacing model we did, pacing and leading, then perceptual positions for empathy. So all these are something that we discussed, but with the specific NLP terms that usually the NLP gives, the terms. So we are almost at the end of the session. Leading with empathy or leading with emotional intelligence, it can be a very powerful tool. Of course, there may be some situations where as a leader we can also fail. It is okay, and it happens, because leadership doesn't mean that you are the ultimate authority. You are also learning, you are also in the learning phase. As a leader, you are also growing with every experience, every situation. So it is okay to fail as a leader too. Don't be so harsh on yourself or on the other leaders. Don't be so harsh. You have to be empathetic at that with them too in that situation. This is definitely a powerful tool, because when you are understanding people with whom you are working with, you are actually promoting diversity, you are promoting inclusivity, you are accepting everyone, you are accepting the viewpoints, the thought process, the perspectives, the ideas of everyone who are around you. You are valuing their individuality. So that definitely helps and promotes diversity and inclusion. Now, emotional intelligence, it is said that it is the art of mastering ourselves so that we can connect with the and elevate others. But great leaders are remembered not for the empires they built, but for the people they lifted. They lifted. It goes back to the first quote that I mentioned, that people may remember what you did, people may remember what you said, but people will never forget the way you make them feel. So that is a very powerful statement. So before closing, I have a final call to action for all of you, that in the coming weeks, we have discussed about few techniques, small actionable items that anyone can practice. You can share it with your children, your grandchildren, your friends, colleagues. So in this coming week, press your pause button, practice empathy, and reframe one difficult interaction that you had, and see how that leadership feels when driven by emotional intelligence. I'm sure that it will complete the whole perspective, shift the whole perspective. So this is something that we do. I'm into trainings. I train students, college students, school students, teachers, corporates, and curate programs for them. So this is a special program called Leader X, which is having a leadership experience program for the employees, and for even for the college students, to make them ready for the corporate world. So it is a very interesting session, which can be minimum for 2 weeks, and even for longer period as required. We can plan and curate it. So these are few points that we take up in the session. Emotional intelligence is just one part of it, but leadership is it's an amalgamation of many other skills that need to be learned, and these are skills that can actually be learned. So we strongly believe that leaders are not born, they are made, they can be made. So by learning all these skills, it can be done. So if you or anyone is looking for such sessions to help your employees or help the students to do better or to learn or to empower them, enable them, we would be happy to do this. You can reach out to us. I would be definitely be happy to do that. And this is my social media handles, a QR code for all of you. You all can scan it and connect with me through the social media pages, where I keep posting a lot of things, informations that I do. So I would love to stay connected with all of you, and of course exchange thoughts, indulge in more insightful discussions, to share our learnings and learn from your experiences. I would be very happy if we can stay connected. Um, and also, this is something which, before closing, I wanted to share. This is a small program. I, being into a scientific world and very close to nature, I have worked a lot. And now we are doing this India Book of Records. This is an attempt. On October 24th, I just wanted to share so that you all can share and forward this to other people. We are reaching out to as many people possible to join us in this movement. This is for to fight against climate change. Now you may question that just doing this, attempting this record, how does it help? This is uh, an opportunity where you can actually decide to make some conscious decisions, to take some conscious steps in your day-to-day life that you can easily practice, because those small steps or small actions can actually contribute to something bigger. So this is just to do that, and we will be connecting virtually to do a pledge uh, against climate change and to save the uh, you know uh, problems that the earth or the planet is facing. So this is through an organization called the Voice of the World, where I am the co-ambassador. So if you people are interested, I request you to do this. So you can scan the QR code and join the movement, or you can share with your family, or children, your grandchildren, or anyone who would like to be part of it. Whole corporate office can also join the movement as an organization. A college can join, a school can join, and each participant will be receiving an India Book of Records certificate with their hologram, with a proper hard copy. So this is the added um, thing a participant can get. So thank you. I just wanted to take this opportunity to share with as many people possible. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. I'm sure that we had a brainstorming session today where we discussed a lot of things. More than my sharing, I learned a lot from all of you through your experiences. So thank you so much, Gopi sir, for having me here. And looking forward to bigger collaborations and do some better work, good work in the future too. Thank you. Thank you. And back to you.
Keep the floor open for question answers. Participants, you may please unmute and ask your questions. Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah, please go on, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I would like to suggest and also ask a question to Dr. Aswathy. One is, you talked about IQ, EQ, and the third one is the SQ, that is the spiritual quotient, which this concept came about more than 2.5 decades ago. And the same way, you talked about AI, very long explanation, exhaustive, and wonderful things to learn from you, and good takeaways. It was a wonderful presentation. Only thing I would like to add is about the spiritual intelligence. If you can incorporate in your presentation next time, even when you talk about the leadership roles, and spiritual intelligence is going to play a very, very important role in the leadership, your leadership training programs. And the other thing is, I would like to understand from you the basic difference between the spiritual intelligence and the emotional intelligence.
Okay. Sure, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot for that suggestion. I would definitely incorporate spiritual quotient, spiritual intelligence in this talk in the future. So,
Thank you.
according to me, SQ or spiritual quotient is all about living smart. I feel that it is all about living smart life, which goes beyond thinking and thinking and feeling to address meaning or any purpose and values in life. Basically, if you see the spiritual quotient, it helps us to stay more grounded, right? It make and also at the same time make ethical decisions and remain resilient during challenges. Of course, that is something we learn in the other even emotional, being emotional intelligent also. But it is more like staying grounded. Even if you are the leader with, you are managing thousand or even more people, still how grounded you are, how you handle that situation or your people, and you make ethical decisions at every step, right?
Absolutely.
So that is what I feel spiritual intelligence. For example, how you choosing integrity over short term gain, like you have to say no at times to follow the integrity rather than shooting for a short term goal. So that comes under a spiritual intelligence for me. So whereas uh, emotional quotient, it measures our ability to recognize, understand the emotions of the people, and of course us. So that is the difference according to me, sir.
That's good. And a lot of other parameters also could be added, like inner wisdom and compassion, transcendence and values in life, meaning and
Yes.
purpose of being a leader in the social service or the leadership, taking
Yes.
up the leadership roles. And it will be a good combo when you introduce spiritual quotient or the spiritual intelligence and the emotional intelligence uh,
Mm.
in your training program.
Yes. Okay. Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for that suggestion.
Thank you very much. Thanks for accepting
Can
my
I, can I,
suggestion.
can I, can I come?
Yes, sir.
Can I come, sir?
So,
So, spiritual quotient, in my view, emotional is internally for self management, and spiritually is supposing I want to give committed quality. So that is spiritual. Whatever I am committed, my audio and video should be same. This is spiritual. Thank you.
Sure, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Gobi, I'm Ashoka. Can I ask a question?
Please go on, sir. Please go on, sir. Shubha, sir.
Yeah. Madam, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that genetical factors will influence this EQ and leadership? Will have any role on this EQ, emotional
Come again, sir.
intelligence? No, my
Your-
question is
Yes.
the genetical factors.
Okay.
Genetical
Okay.
factors. Will it have any effect on this emotional intelligence?
Uh, I actually don't have much knowledge about it, but I have read a little bit about this, that some of the researches does show that genetics do play some role in shaping emotional I would not say emotional intelligence, but some emotional tendencies like the temperament, no, the anger or sensitivity, or the basic mood, the baseline mood of a person. So these are some of the tendencies that are actually because of the genetics. I have read in some of the papers, and based on that, I'm saying this, that for example, some people they may naturally be more calm or empathetic. They are naturally like that, and some are very impulsive and prone to stress and that kind of emotions. So, however, unlike the IQ, which is, of course, which is more strongly influenced no, by genetics, emotional intelligence is highly flexible and can be developed. It can easily be modified or changed within a person. The environment may play a role there. The learning practices can play a role there. Even a concept called neuroplasticity is there. The brain can rewire itself, it says. So it can grow. It can grow at any age. So it is, I mean, that is something that I believe that there are many factors that can influence and change still. In short, if you ask me, genetics can, like, it may set the starting point, of course, but the life experiences and the conscious practices that we follow can actually determine the final results or how emotionally intelligent a person can become. That's my take on that, sir.
So,
Thank you.
so
Thank you
I
very much.
I fully agree with you. I give you example. If my father was not behaving with my mother properly, he was very strict. So I am conditioned 25 years before I am seeing every day. That is the implicit learning. I am by observation, I am learning, and you may call it genetic or anything, but that behavior also, I inculcate in me because of observation. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sunil here. Just want to I want to ask one question. Thanks once again. It was a beautiful session and good learning for me. So I
Okay.
have one thing to discuss, open to all. Actually, culture of the organization, how it plays a role in emotional intelligence. Even a leader is having the good knowledge, good experience, good emotional intelligence, but the culture with respect to the organization, how it plays a role, negative or positive.
Um, Definitely, sir. It plays a very important role. For example, I feel the modeling of emotional behavior can be done through the culture of the organization. For example, if you see leaders and managers, they sets the tone, or they creates the culture, or they sets the tone for the organization. In that case, what happens if the culture encourages open communication? Then the members or the employees, they follow that. If they encourage respect and empathy within the organization, the employees, they actually try to imbibe that and they mirror these behaviors, right? So conversely, if the culture tolerates aggression or indifference, the emotional awareness, it usually gets suppressed. So definitely it has a very strong impact. And we have seen that an organization that values the trust and openness, it allows people to express emotions without any fear of judgment. So there it boosts the self-awareness and empathy of the employees, and as employees, they feel more safe and concerned. Collaboration is more active, there, and competition is less. So it definitely impacts the emotional intelligence of people, sir, the culture of the organization. There is no second thought about it.
I think
Yes,
sense
thank
of
you.
belonging,
Thank
Culture
you.
is
sense of
always
belonging is a
created
very important
by,
factor.
yes, culture
Yeah,
is
the
always created.
organization which is grown in the one culture, and the leader who is the new, who is having the um, good knowledge and express. That was my thought process actually. If the entire team is grown in the one culture, and if you want to change it, so it will take a lot of time and
Yes.
lot of hurdles are there. So that I
Yeah.
want to say. So thanks
Yes,
for the
definitely.
highlighting on this. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Madam Muthukumar again back here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm only having dialogue with you because you've done a good job, and
Yes, sir.
I'm sure
I
I also
really,
realize that
thank you.
you're knowledgeable in your talk. So it is definitely a good session. So I appreciate that for you. So what I'm going to ask you is maybe look controversial, but it just I'm only having a dialogue with you. Okay.
sir.
not arguing or debating with you.
It's no
So
problem.
basically, one of the challenges with all this kind of coaching, madam, is that fundamentally there are two types of coaching. One is coming from knowledge obtained from theory, reading, and learning, which is good. The second type of coaching is coming from the wisdom gained from the real-time
Experiences.
experience of managing projects. Okay. Combination of this both only gives the right coaching to people. Either one of them, either only
Yes.
from the knowledge or without wisdom is kind of inadequate. Wisdom with experience without the knowledge, fundamental foundation knowledge is also inadequate. So what is required for a proper coach is fundamental foundational knowledge and practical wisdom gained from experience. And the combination of
Yes.
these three only gives a proper coaching, right? And second
Yes.
important point is that it is much easier. I'm kind of
Yes, sir.
against teaching.
Either or is
Hello?
very dangerous. Either and is very important. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I
And
say either or is very dangerous. Either and is very important.
okay, thank you, Mr. Anil. So
Both.
the most important thing is that, for example, schools and colleges, for example, you know that you know very well based on your experience, the brain is not fully developed. The physical size of the brain developed about 90% by age of 15. By 17, they are 95%. But the maturity of the brain, especially the prenatal cortex, is not developed until 22 to 25. The children of the schools and the colleges students, they do not have capacity to analyze independently, to self-inquire what is going to happen until 22, 25 years of age.
Yes.
So the issue is that it's much easier to teach them because they do not have that maturity to self-inquire and challenge. Second important point is that, madam, so in all your coaching, one of the things I always see is that inadequacy. So I'm just asking that when you're training people, what kind of that wisdom gained from real-time project management experience you bring in? How do you integrate that in your coaching?
Yes, sir. As you rightly mentioned, no, any kind of coaching will not work if the both aspects are not there. The knowledge, the right knowledge, and of course the wisdom, the experience. And at the same time, when you said that the age group with the age group, the development of the brain or the basic understanding also changes definitely. So in every case the situation it changes, sir. It doesn't remain the same, right? Like I mentioned before also, like based on the situations or based on the environmental factors or based on the learnings we get or the experiences we face, are the growth is changing. I mean, it is progressing only. So it may be different at this age group, but later, maybe after few years later, my understanding on certain things will be completely different. And that is the regular process, and that is how it is. So as a children, when I go to any college or any school, I speak to them with in the language they understand, so that they at least they take something out of whatever we are discussing. And in the same way, if I go to a corporate office and I'm having a session with them, the discussion happens in a different way, but the learnings are actually same. The way they understand is different and the way they process things are different. Only thing is the examples that I incorporate, or it is more from the day-to-day life or the real life examples that I share. It differs from age group. For college students or school students, I share with them those things that I have experienced as a child or I have seen as an educator happening with the students, and it differs from the other. So that is how I change my sessions and coaching sessions. It comes back to the same content that I shared, that no, speaking to them in the language they understand, or their understanding level. I have to first understand that their level is different, so I have to incorporate those examples and those styles to make them more comfortable with me. If I will be talking in a very hi-fi and other with very complicated examples with the school student, it doesn't work there. So I have to modify. The content is same, the learning is same, but the way I understand is different. So I have to modify my sessions according to to their understandability. So that is how I managed to do. But the core and the outcome is almost same there.
We'll discuss it more later, maybe offline, not in this forum. But how do you bring that wisdom-based experience in your coaching to, let's say, corporate people or anybody? See, there are different levels of leadership, ma'am. And that is
Yeah.
where the challenges come. So the reason I'm asking this question to you is not because of personal. See, I've led big companies across the world, and every time the HR or admin tries to arrange some kind of leadership courses to the employees, and also mid-level senior management, all these things, it always never created a big value, because I used to kind of, whenever I have time, used to attend 10, 15 minutes to see what is going on and join for a short time and just to see. But it is always have that particular lack of wisdom from the real-time experience. So most of the mid senior level management come and tell me later on. I ask him, how was the course for 3 days? You went to a beautiful resort and had a meeting. And they always say that, sir, it was good. They were theoretical knowledgeable, but it's not practically applicable to our institute, our organization. And they always come back. This is one thing. So if you look at, I think I'm sure everybody in this forum have a similar experience. They have been leading big companies, I'm sure. So 70% of the survey after the course is done, 70 to 80% comes back that it is not practically applicable. That's what happens. There is a reality in the story. They will not tell you as a coach in front of your face, right?
Understood.
They will give you
Understood,
something
sir.
and afterwards happens. So I'm telling a practical problem. That is why I'm asking this question. How we are combining the wisdom from experience in your coaches?
Yeah, basically here we have to, have this wisdom approach, for example, I'm just trying to, give an example here. Like if they are like entry level employees and you are trying to, you are focusing on their building self-awareness or regulation or any such skill. So through wisdom approach, what you will do is you will teach them to reflect on the mistakes, because they are entry level employees, mistakes as learning opportunities rather than failures. So you take such examples that is more relevant to them. Same way, if they are mid level employees, use case studies or role plays and peer learnings to show how different their perspectives can enrich the solutions. So based on their level of understanding or their experience, we have to change the approach accordingly. So I personally incorporate some activities on some games or some discussions which is more relevant to their scenario or their situation, or the things they do, they follow in day-to-day life and their professional life. So I blend those things with the coaching program whenever I curate something for different levels of people. That is how, more like practical, we can divide like practical wisdom, adapting to workplace for juniors. And then we have higher mid-levels, like relational wisdom, you can say, like managing people and conflicts. And then we have seniors where transformational learning or transformational wisdom is required, inspiring with the purpose and legacy. So it changes with that is how I go forward whenever I have these sessions for different levels of people, and it changes. And the same thing, same skills we are teaching to the school or college students, so there the situation and examples, it will vary. So that is something that I personally, but of course we can discuss about it in detail offline also.
No, seriously, is an important matter, because
Yeah.
there are 4 levels of leadership actually. Whatever I'm telling you very frankly, based on my experience of 40 years in this field, running projects, the first 2 levels, whatever you're doing will work. Definitely, no doubt at all. It's very helpful, is really good and needed also for every organization, no doubt at all. The level 3 and level 4, level 3 will always lie to you in the program. They will never talk to you very openly, because they are at the level of, in the blue cover, if you look at it, they are the level of 70% to 80% percentile. They will never tell you the truth when they are attending the courses like this, because they always think that you are a spy for the organization as a coach. I'm just telling you this, right? Because
Exactly.
70 to 85th percentile, because they are under the eyesight of the management. Okay. At the fourth level, they don't take it seriously because they think that they know everything. They're already at the fourth level, at the 90th percentile of the organization. So they don't need any kind of coaching. So they will come just for the sake of coming and attend. They will not show any interest or engage with you. That's how the system looks. But the real leaders, after the fourth level, there is a fifth and sixth level leaders who are the real success matters. See, I worked with companies, people, and many of the people in the meeting would have done. I worked with somebody called Sir Bill Gamble. He was knighted by the Queen, Bill Gamble, and I'm a good friend of him, and I worked for him for several years. His management style is completely different. He has been one of the most successful guy in the Europe, and his management style is completely different. I also worked with some of the great the big shots in India, the top chairmen and everything out there. Every one of the business style doesn't work into any of these categories. And I always wonder. So I just want to share something. When I was traveling in a car to one of the top guy, I don't want to tell the name in India, is probably now 70, 80,000 crores of rupees of worth of business. And I was traveling in a car to him and I asked him actually, so how do you select people like us? Because I was working as a chief operating officer for him. And then he just does something very great things. Actually, I asked him, how do you trust people like us? And what do you do actually? And then he asked me only one thing. He told me, my job is to create an environment for business and take people like you to run it on your own. Nothing else matters for him. And that's how he built his business actually. So those leaders who are really successful, man, really successful, who are actually on the limelight, who have made 10 billion, $20 billion of worth of businesses, their model is completely different from the routine model. So there's a difference in the approach for leadership from level 1 to level 6. This I want to share you. This is one of the, it's interesting because what you're doing is definitely required. 100%, but it is required for the first two, level 1 and level 2. But I'm just suggesting that you have to think about how to bring that successful for level 3 and level 4. Level 5 and level 6 will not bother about any of this coaching. They are mindly different. They are absolutely different people altogether.
Yes.
So just a suggestion
I
for
agree.
you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes. Anyone else has a question? Vichu? Suresh, sir. Suresh, sir. Dr. Kadresan. I think we are done, Aswathy, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me.
We can ask questions till tomorrow. So it is so, she made so interesting session, very beautiful session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go on, sir. Suresh, sir, go on.
Sir, I'm sorry. My mic is having some problem. That's why I could not get it. Anyway, it was a very interesting session, ma'am. Thank you very much. It's applicable. So mostly, I'm a community trainer. I'm working with mostly with the NGOs and government organizations. The last 2 weeks, I have visited almost 7 universities and colleges in different patterns and working on different topics. So I rightly said, the first 10 minutes, I will not talk about the topic. I will always look at and sense how much they are interested in the subject, number 1. Number 2 is what levels are there? It's a mixed group means what I'm talking about, one group may not be applicable to other group. So I have to find out some balance somewhere where I can keep everybody engaged by interacting something. And number 3 is very much important, rather, dumping our ideas to them and always taking from them and try to give the solution. Number 4, whether I engage somebody or whether somebody engages me, first thing is I will go through their organization, their problem, their challenges for the past 30, 40 years, whatever they have been doing, and where exactly they are lagging, and then try to give a solution according to that. Then the same way, when I am engaging somebody, I will always give my organization, my work, and make them to understand the entire thing, so that at least I cannot say 100% there will be, right, sir was talking about, there will not be 100% satisfaction. There will be always some kind of lagging, but at least a maximum satisfaction of the audience as well as the presenter, that we are given a stuff to the people. And third, last thing is the 5, 6 levels sir was talking about. We should think about a handheld support till the policies, what we are talking about is working. If it is working, it is well and good, we can make it as a good practice. If it doesn't work, then we have to find out an alternative and try to change the thing rather giving the same thing again and again to all organizations. That is
Yes.
where many of the HR finance guys, fail. And last but not the least, the AI playing a major role. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I was presenting something, there was some kind of attention. Now
Yes.
there is a kind of movement in the audience because I know when I put a chat GPT, everything I'm getting, why I have to listen to you. Now that kind of attitude has come. So what we are doing is maximum case studies, giving some interesting, some twist and all that, making them to understand. So that will make things better rather going in the same pattern. That's what I
Yes.
observed from that. Because leadership training is not the pattern which we can maintain from any university or something. It changes every day to day.
Yes.
The environment what we have been working. So anyway, it's a wonderful session. We enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.